There we go. Welcome, everybody. Hello, YouTubers. I'm live. My camera's holding steady, I think. It may not be collapsing today like it was the other day. Anyway, welcome all. I am John Aravosis. You all know that. Let me get TikTok rolling here. It's not subscription only because that would suck. Oh, it is not. All right. All right. TikTok go live. All right. All right. There we go. All right. Flip my TikTok camera. Boom. Excellent. All right. TikTok is live. You guys are live. It's a little bit bright. I'll turn it down. Otherwise, we are good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Light's good today anyway. Anyway, welcome all. How's everybody doing? I see, who is it, Daniel? Somebody said, oh, yeah, Australia. He said Austria. Australia changed the time today. Okay, or yesterday. Hey, TikTokers. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Those of you who have been here before. I am John Aravosis. We're going to talk today. Oh, I didn't even print my notes. It's going to be hard to talk about anything today. If I'm not going to print my notes, hang on. Let me print my notes here. I'm looking at my notes as I'm talking to you going, we're going to talk about, I don't know what we're talking about because I haven't printed my notes. Thank you, John S. There we go. Now it's printing in the background. Hopefully nothing gets messed up. But yes, we're going to talk about the election latest. Thank you, Super Hornet. We're going to talk about Ukraine latest. Our two favorite topics. Thank you, Alan, as well, and John S. and Super Hornet running. Lots of gifts coming in. Thank you, guys. Thank you, running again. Yeah, so what's going on, guys? I hit a regular weekend here. Busy as always. Oh, yes, the new haircut. Thank you, DBZ. I like it. Mixed reviews, but I like it. What do you do? And it grows, so big deal. Thank you, Family Lavery. Thank you, Cool. And I will say it's easy to deal with, which I do love that. Like literally waking up and going with water. Oh, let me get my notes. I forgot to get my notes. One moment. All right. There we go. All right, that's better. That's better. Now I got my notes. All right. Hang on, guys. I mean, I've got them on my computer, but they're kind of buried behind the screen. It doesn't make it easy, Jens. So yes, this is much easier this way. Good evening, Trash Hunter in Spain. Anyway, hey, Ash. So yeah, welcome, guys. Welcome back. Those of you who have been here before, those of you those of you who haven't, this is our daily show. We talk about the latest news in Ukraine. We talk about the latest election news. 6 o'clock Eastern time, US every day, Monday to Friday. And then Saturday, we do a special show for the paid subscribers. So anybody who's a paid subscriber or wants to be, keep that in mind. We did one this weekend. Vlad joined us, our Ukrainian friend Vlad. Thank you, Mark, for the gift on TikTok. So Vlad gave us we did an in-depth hour talking about the latest on Ukraine with Vlad. Thank you, World, incredibly, Eileen, all of you for the gifts. Thank you, guys. Anyway, well, we'll wait another half minute and then get rolling. Thank you, Running, for the gift. Oh. Oh, beep. Anyway, all right, guys. I think I'm ready to get rolling. I'm just looking at the comments rolling in. People introducing themselves. Good. And the Australians changed their time this weekend, which apparently screwed up Daniel and probably any other Australians we've got. Saturday was good. Saturday was very good. Vlad joined us, our Ukrainian friend Vlad. So Vlad gave us a good hour, like an hour update on Ukraine. It was we didn't even talk about the election stuff at all. Thank you, Snowblade, for the dolphin. Hey, Corey, are you on different times usually or what? This is the time I always start, but it is kind of a goofy time if you're American and working. It was sort of the compromise time we did. Thank you, Bruce, for the gifts. Sort of a compromise time we did for the Europeans and the Americans, or the Americas, if I want to be more inclusive. Thank you, Rose, for the gift. Yeah, another nasty hurricane heading for Florida and the southeast again. Thank you, Marie. I mean, just crazy. Although it's going to go down a little, like it's getting up to a 5. I think it's already a 5. Oh, you're in the U.S. Yeah, but some people miss it because the work schedule stuff, which is true. I mean, yeah, in most of the country, people should be working at this hour. Hey, Disco. Hey, Risen. Thank you for the gifts. Or Risen. But yeah, we've got another nasty hurricane heading for the U.S. At least it's going to be a little bit less. I mean, it's really bad right now, but it's going down in intensity before it hits, which is good. Hard to recap the information Vlad gave, Martin. It was an hour. I don't even remember now, to be honest. I mean, it was an hour of Vlad. I couldn't even tell you. If somebody else remembers, maybe you can give a couple highlights in the comments on TikTok. I just don't remember enough. And I don't remember, but like it was an hour. So I'm kind of like, I don't tend to remember stuff that happens during my show because at the same time, I'm sort of listening. I'm listening as a host, basically, which is different than just being a participant. When someone else is talking, you're kind of listening to make sure the conversation continues, to make sure if you've got to explain something they didn't explain. Like Vlad will assume you know certain things, and I'll say, well, that's the town in the East you'll remember, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, that's okay, DBZ. Well, maybe somebody can give DBZ a gift membership for a month so they can join us on the weekends, or at least for a month. Thank you, Diana. I wish they gave me gift membership. It was stupid. TikTok doesn't. TikTok does not give me gift memberships to give out. And YouTube doesn't either. It's very annoying because it would be nice just to give people some free memberships. Why not? Right? Because I don't mind doing it. Thank you, Jorge, but they don't. So it's a little annoying. All right, let me get rolling, guys. So today, let's start talking about the elections, and then we'll start talking the American elections. Then we'll start talking about Ukraine. U.S. election is in a month, November 5th. A lot of voting has already happened. We have early voting in this country, which means, excuse me, I want to yawn at you today, which means sort of good and bad. I mean, early voting is good for Democrats. A lot of Democrats tend to vote early, so that's good. It's bad, it can be bad in that things are tied right now. We're going to talk about the polls in a second, but things are basically tied. And if you've got early voting, people vote now. They don't vote in a month. So if in a month Kamala Harris is able to pull really far ahead of Trump, it's too late for the people who voted early. So that's the only thing with early voting is it's good if you're ahead, but when it's tied like right now, it's a little creepy. So any case, as I was saying, the election is a tie. Let me go through some of the polls. National Public Radio, PBS, Marist found that Harris has a narrow edge over Trump nationally by 2 percentage points, which is well within the margin of error. The margin of error is 3.7, and she's 2 ahead, so it's a tie. Thank you, Pedro, for the gift. I've been saying all along, it's kind of a tie everywhere. All the state nationally, it's a tie. U.S. elections don't get chosen nationally; they get chosen based on the individual states. It's complicated. I won't go through the whole thing right now. I go through it often for you guys. Illegals don't vote, Gabe, so that's not a problem. That's a lie that Donald Trump and the Republicans often spread. Illegals don't vote in America. The only election fraud that happened last time, for example, were some Republicans who voted illegally, but it wasn't significant. It wasn't enough to make a difference. Illegals don't vote. That's just a lie, you're told. And one of the good things about my channel versus going to like some MAGA channel is we don't lie to you here. And we don't, this is not meant to be a group hug. This is not meant to give you news that makes you feel good. I actually believe in giving you the truth because I don't like being lied to, but I'm kind of funny that way. So I don't really vote for political parties that lie to me like the Republicans do all the time. But, what do you do? All right. So a little bit more of this. So Trump and Harris are tied nationally. She's ahead 2 points. Again, the Republicans here would tell you that Harris being ahead 2 points means she's winning. But again, I tell you the truth, unlike the MAGA people. Harris being ahead 2 points nationally does not mean she's winning. It means there's a tie because it's within the margin of error. You won't hear that on a MAGA channel. A little bit more here. The background states, the battleground states, I should say, the battleground states are the most important states that both of them need. Somewhere around 7 states. Some people say 6, some people say 8, but more or less around 7 states. And they're a tie. Harris and Trump are essentially, this was, I think, I'm trying to remember where the hell I got this from. Maybe the New York Times. This was from CNN, I think. Harris and Trump are essentially tied, perhaps with a slight edge to Trump in the Sun Belt states of Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. But a slight edge, again, means it's a tie, right? Because you need 2 or 3 point lead at least for it to be a lead. Harris has a slightly greater advantage in the Great Lakes states of Michigan and Wisconsin. Those advantages are well within the boundaries of potential polling error. So even in the states that Harris is further ahead of Trump, the important states like Michigan and Wisconsin, it's still within the margin of error. So it's still a tie. Thank you, Adventures, for the gift. And finally, the recent polling in the all-important Pennsylvania, which is a hugely important state for both Trump and Harris, it's a tie. Guys, this isn't changing much. Let's see. As I said, one of the things that worries me is in previous elections, people were sort of so embarrassed to admit they were voting for Trump that Trump tended to do better on election day than he did in the polls. Trump actually did in some of the key states. Thank you, Jen. In some of the key states, I think it was Pennsylvania, maybe it was Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I think, but 3 of the key states sort of in the Midwest area there. Pennsylvania is kind of half Midwest. Trump did like 9 points better on election day in 2016. And those same states, election day 2020, Trump did like 5 points better than the polls. So the fact that the polls show them as tied isn't necessarily a good thing for Kamala Harris. It means her people are going to really have to like bust their butts to get things going. No, it's still pretty damn good. And it's a hell of a lot better than Biden did, right? Biden lost the election, basically. I mean, he was going to lose. Kamala Harris can win. She just needs to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Thank you, Bryce. A little more. Trump decided to give some more racist comments this weekend. Trump said that we are letting people into the country who have bad genes, bad genetics. He said this before. Thank you, Courtney. Trump, as you know, demonizes dark people, Latinos, blacks, Muslims, also demonizes women and lots of other people, trans people, lots of other people, but particularly a fan of demonizing blacks and Latinos. And Trump has already said this election that black people who are immigrants eat dogs and cats and they steal them from your neighbors and they're going to come to steal your pets. Total lie. It's a total lie. Everyone said it's, I mean, literally like already disproven. Trump doesn't care because Trump is a path. I've told you this before and not like to say it as some kind of hyperbole. Trump is a pathological liar. Pretty much guaranteed that everything Donald Trump says is anything that makes you go, oh my God, is going to be a lie. Remember, this is the guy who literally lied about a hurricane. He drew on the hurricane map himself to show, because he was claiming it was going to hit Georgia, and everybody said something like no, whatever it was. So Trump drew on the map with a Sharpie, with a magic marker. He drew on the hurricane map and did like a thing from his, the Oval Office, the president's office, and all the experts went like, I mean, out of the experts, every human being looked and said, that's not true. The guy lies about everything. So yeah, Trump said he was speaking to a pretty much white audience in Minnesota. Minnesota is I've got, you know what? We moved everything upstairs for the painters and everybody, and now I've got to find the map again that Carol sent me of the U.S. But Minnesota is one of our states right in the middle at the north, the border in Canada, and its population is very Scandinavian. Very Norwegian, I think. I don't know if you get. I don't remember if Minnesota gets Swedes as well and Danes, but it's very Norwegian as I recall. Even as a bit of the accent to our ears, and therefore Trump was talking to not just a very white audience, but a very white Northern European audience, and he told them that they have very good genes, they have good genetics, but the people coming into our country have very bad genes. He means Latinos and he means blacks. All the articles are pointing this out. TikTok gets very upset, so we're trying not to use these words. But the last world leader who talked about people having bad genetics coming into their countries was that guy in World War II we all had to get together to beat. And the Russians were supporting, if you remember, that little game they were playing. Russia's friend who was talking about bad genetics. So kind of creepy. Trump on abortion. So CNN did a fact check that I thought was very funny today. Thank you, Brian, for the gift. They did a fact check on Tim Walz, who's Kamala Harris's vice presidential candidate. And they said, Tim Walz said a falsehood about Donald Trump today. Because Tim Walz, or this weekend on Sunday, interviewing with Fox News, Tim Walz says, thank you, KT. Keep the gifts coming, guys. I do this for a living and I do it full time. I hate making the pitch, but and your gifts help me pay the bills. So please keep it coming if you like my reporting. So Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's VP, is on Fox News on Sunday. They're the bad guys. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Shorty. KT, lots of gifts coming in. Thank you, guys. And says that Donald Trump is pushing for a national abortion ban. Thank you, Carol. Banning abortion nationwide. Now, thank you, Daniel. CNN says that's not true. That's false. And technically they're right, but listen to CNN's explanation of Tim Walz being wrong about Donald Trump wanting a nationwide abortion ban, okay? In 2016, thank you, Running, for the gift. In 2016, presidential candidate Trump did support a federal abortion ban at 20 weeks of pregnancy. Okay, thank you, Jen. He reiterated his support for that policy as president. So from 2016 through 2020, Trump was in favor of a national abortion ban at 20 weeks. Trump hinted in March. So then for the next 4 years, Trump was still in favor of a national abortion ban. Okay, so running for president 2016, president 2017 to early 21, in favor of a national abortion ban. Gets to this year, still in favor of a national abortion ban. Gets to March of this year, and Trump has gotten even more conservative about a national abortion ban. Thank you, Succeed. Thank you, who is it, Cayman? Trump has gotten even more conservative and no longer wants a 20-week. But Trump was hinting in March he wanted a 15-week abortion ban, meaning after the 15th week of pregnancy, you can't get an abortion. There was a big scandal because the country tends to be pro-choice. Americans do not really oppose. Most Americans actually support the right to choose. And Trump was forced to then say that he wants to leave it to the states, right? So in April, he turns around after 9 years of this. April of this year, that's April to December, 6 months ago, Trump finally changed his mind and said, oh, I leave it to the states. I'm not for a national ban. I'm not for a national ban. And CNN says, that means Tim Walz said an untruth. Guys, Donald Trump has been for a national abortion ban for the last 8 or 9 years. He's gotten even more conservative this year. This year, he wanted an even more strict national abortion ban in March of this year. And because the polling wasn't good, in April of this year, Trump changed his mind and said, oh, now I just want to leave it to the states. Right? I mean, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Brian, by the way, is leaving us because Brian is a troll. Anybody who goes at CNN, by the way, Ashley, just knock him out. That's per se troll. One of the things I don't tolerate on my show is, like I said, I don't tolerate liars. Really, I'm not a big fan of lies. I've said this before. I don't tolerate it. Thank you, Stan Gunn. I don't tolerate it for my political candidates. I don't tolerate it for people visiting our show. We are here to have an honest debate as Americans and foreigners and people from all over the world. I expect you guys to tell the truth. I expect to tell you the truth. I like Kamala Harris. I think Donald Trump's a pig, but I'm not going to lie to you about how he's doing in the election. First of all, because it doesn't benefit me to lie about Trump. Why should I lie to you, right? People need to know if he's winning or losing. Thank you, Christina. But the people who come on here and say, CNN sucks, that's because you're brainwashed. That's because you're a member of a cult. The cult has had to tell you for years that CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the BBC, every newspaper in the world, every news channel in the world, except Fox News and 2 other weirdos, are lying to you. And if you really believe that every newspaper in the world and every news channel in the world on TV is lying to you, except Fox News and a couple other weirdos, I would love to sell you a bridge. Because you're out of your mind if you think the entire world is lying to you except the crazy guy you follow on the internet. But that's what Republicans have done. They've convinced their people that CNN's a liar, Elizabeth. And of course, you got to call CNN a liar because CNN is exposing the fact that you're voting for a man who's a convicted felon. CNN is exposing the fact that you're voting for a man who has sexually assaulted dozens of women, at least been accused of dozens of women. The court found him liable for practically raping one woman. It was the legal definition of rape. One judge came out and said, a very famous judge, in fact, right? I mean, you've got to go after CNN because CNN reports the fact, and it's the truth, that your own candidate, Donald Trump, called American troops suckers and losers for getting killed in action. He called American soldiers suckers and losers for getting taken prisoners of war. Who said that? Oh, and of course, CNN. I love how these guys also say CNN. CNN is quoting Donald Trump's own staff for all of this data. CNN is quoting Donald Trump's own general, his own general that he hired to be White House Chief of Staff, Marine Corps General, 3-star. Donald Trump's own general he hired said Donald Trump called our troops suckers and losers. So try to claim it's on CNN. Google it for these assholes. Google it. Michael Bouchard, not true. Really, Michael? Go Google it. I want somebody to Google it right now. Google it right now. Trump calling our troops suckers and losers, and the Marine Corps general is proving it. You guys can't handle the truth because you're members of a cult. You're members of a freaking cult. It's un-American. It's anti-American. You don't like the troops. The very fact that you would defend this man for calling our troops suckers and losers for getting killed in action, the very fact that you would lie about that. Now, again, some of them are Russians and they're bots. Yes, some of them are absolutely not real. Some of these are fake accounts, again, because the Russians really want Donald Trump to win. That's a whole other issue, Thank you, Manda Bear. The Russians really want Trump to win. We know that. And why? Because they're America's enemy. I mean, let's face it, America's enemies don't want someone to win who's going to be tough on America's enemies. The only reason the Russians have been pushing for Donald Trump is because Trump practically works for Russia. And we know it, and everybody knows it. Again, the man hates America's troops. I mean, anyway. But yeah, so keep going, guys, because I just got on a 5-minute rant reminding people that Donald Trump called American soldiers suckers and losers for getting killed in action. And that our proof is a Marine Corps general who Donald Trump himself hired, so that everyone out there can Google the suckers and losers of the phrase. Google it, and you will see it's true. Donald Trump's own general heard it. The guy Donald Trump trusted with the entire White House heard it. So keep trolling, keep lying, keep saying how much you hate these, how much these are lies, because I'm going to go on a 5-minute rant every time you guys do, reminding everybody of how much Donald Trump hates the troops. Every freaking time. Every freaking time. Exactly. Everybody, please do Google it. Exactly. It's all over and this is one thing that MAGA people won't do. Republicans won't tell you. Republicans, you notice when Donald Trump lies, he never says Google it. The Republicans never actually tell you, like, even now when they say it's lie, right? They never actually tell you to Google stuff because they know that they're lying. I mean, they know that if you Google it, right? If you Google it, you will find that it's not true. And they'll never tell you that. They'll say, oh, you're lying. Oh, you're a bad person. Oh my God, he'd never say that. But they never say, Google it to prove that he didn't do it. Because if you Google it, you will see Donald Trump's own general wrote a book. He wrote a book. So it's not CNN. It's not the Washington. It's his own book. Donald Trump's own general wrote a book saying Donald Trump called our troops suckers and losers for getting killed in action. And he didn't want to even go to a military cemetery because he thought our troops were suckers and losers. And Donald Trump didn't want to get his hair wet. Donald Trump didn't go to an American military cemetery in Europe where our heroes are buried because he didn't want to get his hair wet. He didn't want to get his hair wet. Isn't that precious? Isn't that sweet of him? He's so sweet. He's so precious, you know. He's so precious. Anyway, all right, guys. So, yeah, let's go on here. You know what I need actually is my goat is not here. I put my goat upstairs. See, the problem is I had to move everything upstairs and then move it down again. My wig is upstairs. My goat is upstairs. I got to go find it again. It's okay. Yeah, he didn't want to get his fake hair wet. He is. He's very precious and very sensitive. He's a very sweet. He's a very precious man with his little makeup and his hair and stuff, you know. All right, let's keep going here. So, oh yeah. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the other thing Donald Trump is great for. I just love MAGA Republicans because honestly, thank you, Randy, Fred, and Hazel. Keep the gifts coming, by the way. I love the MAGA Republicans because they basically lie about everything they pretend to care about, right? They don't care. First of all, they pretended they cared about abortion. And now Trump is like flip-flopping on abortion. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem, right? They pretended they cared about the deficit. And then Trump became president and the deficit exploded. I mean, really exploded. Thank you, Maddie. Do you know how much Trump spent, how much money more than Trump spent in deficit? I mean, how much more he added to the deficit? Twice as much. Trump added over $8 trillion to the deficit. Biden added over $4 trillion. And then the Trumpers go, but we had COVID. Well, first of all, the reason you had to spend so much money during COVID is because Donald Trump ignored COVID. But let's put this to the side. Let's pretend like Donald Trump did a great job on COVID, okay? Did you know that even if you don't include COVID spending, Trump spent more money on the deficit than Biden did? More money than Biden, Trump added to the deficit, even if you don't count COVID. Okay, so there's a new study out, and you'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised to hear that a new study came out, independent study of Harris's and Trump's economic proposals. And guess which one breaks the bank? Guess which one adds to the deficit? And Biden adds to the deficit how much? 2 times more than the other. Okay, Donald Trump. Once again, Republicans breaking the deficit. Listen to this. Harris's plan would boost the debt by $3.5 trillion over the next decade. Trump's plan would boost the debt by $7.5 trillion, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget report, a report just released. So Trump will increase the debt by $7.5 trillion, Harris by $3.5. Literally, Trump is more than half, 3.5 to 7.5. Trump's spending deficit while he was president was $8.4 trillion. Biden's was 4.3, so Trump's was 2 times as much. Even if you take out COVID, Trump's deficit spending was 4.8 trillion more than, excuse me, not 4.8 trillion more, was still more than Biden's. And again, this is what drives Republicans crazy. Thank you, Nicola. Because Their candidates lie. They claim to love the troops. They don't. Donald Trump called our troops suckers and losers. They claim to love America. They don't. Donald Trump sides with the Russians over America. Donald Trump sides with the dictator of North Korea. He sides with the dictator in Russia, Putin, KGB colonel, right? Doesn't side with America. Hates America's enemies, right? Hates American government. Tried to overthrow our government. Doesn't like the Constitution. Doesn't like our elections. Doesn't like our judges. Doesn't like a free press. A free press is like one of the underpinnings of our entire democracy, right? Donald Trump hates them, of course, because Donald Trump doesn't like the truth. Donald Trump's a pathological liar. So anyway, but it always gets me. I just find it fascinating that Republicans literally, again, they claim to care about God. Donald Trump, he's as godless of a man as you can get. I mean, let's face it. I know. When's the last time you saw Donald? The last time we saw Donald Trump going to church is when he held that Bible upside down because there was a protest and he wanted to wanted to order the military to go shoot the protesters. There was a peaceful protest outside the White House. Donald Trump goes outside with his general in fatigues, holds a Bible upside down because, for Trump, that's as close as you get. He's not really familiar with how Bibles go. Picture of him holding a Bible upside down, and he tells the general that he wants him to open fire on the peaceful protesters. And the general's like, I don't think we're allowed to do that in America. That's the last time Trump went to church that any of us know, right? When do you see him in church? I mean, literally, when do you see Trump go to church? We see Biden go to church. You hear Biden praying, Biden talking about God. Trump, I've never seen the man go to church. Not to mention going to church with his wife, with his kids, with his grandkids, right? Republicans used to claim to care about God. Now they don't, right? They care about freedom. Now they don't. They don't care about America. They hate our troops. They claim to care about the troops. They don't care about the troops. They were supportive of our military. Now they hate the military, right? They used to be supportive of law and order, of police and law enforcement. They hate law enforcement. Oh my God, right? They want to gut the Justice Department. They want to gut the FBI because why? Because the Justice Department and the FBI holds you accountable for your crimes. The media holds you accountable for your lies. Donald Trump can't have that. And his followers are akin to cult members. They can't handle the truth. So they have to attack. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in God. They don't stand by their claim to be voting on faith. No more. Voting on freedom. No more. Voting on family. Which family would that be? Trump's first family, his second family, or his third family, right? Each time cheating, right? I mean, he slept with a porn star right after his wife gave birth, right after Melania gave birth to Barron. Trump slept with a porn star and then gave her $130,000 of hush money. Was that faith? Was that family? How does that work, folks? No, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyway. All right, let's move on to Ukraine. Well, that got the trolls. Actually, what's fun to see is when this gets sent to the trolls, because our troll numbers have jumped up, I can tell. We've got a lot of trolls here now. Well, trolls, get ready, because now we're talking about Ukraine. So day 956 of Vladimir Putin's 3-day special military operation in Ukraine. The Russian Baltic Fleet minesweeper Alexander Obukov was put out of action thanks to a sabotage operation by the Ukrainian military intelligence, according to the Kyiv Independent. That's great. A Russian missile hit a Palau-flagged vessel in Ukraine's southern port of Odessa on Monday, killing 1 Ukrainian and injuring 5 foreigners. The attack was the second attack on a ship in 2 days, the day before the Russians attacked a civilian vessel from St. Kitts and Nevis. A fire erupted at an oil depot in Russian-occupied Feodosia in Crimea, a huge fire. Basically, the Ukrainians attacked, most likely with drones. A Moscow. So this part is my Moscow, my Russia is a dictatorship watch segment of the show, where we give you examples of how bad of a dictatorship Russia is and why, again, people like Donald Trump and MAGA people would want America why they would want America to be like Russia. Anyway, speaking of which, Misha, our fellow American Misha, our fellow American citizen Misha, who's weighing in on YouTube right now, congratulations. He just got his citizenship. Woo-woo! Now people no longer will make fun of you for being Russian. Now they're going to make fun of you for being American. Get ready for that one, Misha. It's just as much fun and actually just as well-deserved, if not more well-deserved. So get ready for that one. It just hit me right now, but I was like, Misha said occasionally he gets shit for being Russian. It's like, oh, just wait. Especially if Trump becomes president, just wait when you go abroad and go, I'm American. And they go, oh. And then the best part is this was like when I was studying abroad, when I've worked abroad, every time I go abroad, I would sit there and you'd sit there and go, I'm American. Like George Bush, when George Bush the second was president, I would go to France a lot back then. Thank you, laddie. And I would literally be in France or anywhere in Europe. And they'd say, oh, where are you from? I'd say, oh, I'm American. And they'd look at me and they'd get quiet. And I'd go, I didn't vote for Bush. And then they go, okay. I kid you not. It was literally like a silence, a pause, a pregnant pause every time I said I was American in Europe. And you could tell they looked at you like, oh God, you're not a Bush supporter. And you'd literally go, I didn't vote for Bush. And they'd sigh and go, okay. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, congratulations, Misha. That's very cool. That was very quick. Hopefully Misha has good genes. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the show. I was talking about Trump claiming that we're letting in immigrants with bad genes, with bad genetics. We need to let in the immigrants with good genetics. So thank you, Lumicron. Anyway, all right, a little more here. Okay, so this was very bad. I saw this story last week. I figured it's time to kind of, talk about it. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, Misha did change his flag. That's the one part I totally mixed. Misha has had a Russian flag to date because he emigrated to the U.S. from Russia, but was still a Russian national, and he just got his U.S. citizenship, so he changed his flag in his profile to American. That's very cute. Yay. All right, a little more here. A Moscow court sentenced a 72-year-old American, Stephen James Hubbard, to nearly 7 years in prison for fighting in Ukraine as a mercenary. I mean, again, the stuff the Russians do. Russia also, now this second one, that one, I'm not surprised, right? Because you're a terrorist if you support the Ukraine. I mean, just the bullshit Russians do, whatever. The second one, though, is kind of sad, but also kind of funny, which in that, oh, well, in that you supported a dictatorship and then the dictatorship fucked you over kind of funny way. Like, oh, well. I'm sorry, people who support the Russian dictatorship, I don't have a lot of sympathy when the dictatorship turns around and act like a dictatorship. This is the wonderful Far Side cartoon. Far Side was a wonderful American comic strip years ago, and the cartoons are still out there. The Far Side. They're absolutely hilarious. I think the best cartoons. They're not really political. They're about life, but they're sarcastic as hell. And the one was a bunch of sheep sitting in a meadow. Gary Larson was the cartoonist, or is. A bunch of sheep sitting in a meadow on a farm, basically, right? And it's sheep, and they're looking at a sign, a billboard, and the billboard has a picture of a wolf, because the wolf eats the sheep, and the wolf is like running for office. It says elect wolf or whatever, and the quote says, "I will eat you." And the one sheep turns to the other and goes, "I like him. He says it like it is." And it's like, now there's an honest politician, and it was like, yes, he's saying he's going to eat you, but okay. Gary Larson went to your high school. That's funny. But that's how I feel about the Russians sometimes. Like, you supported the Russian dictatorship. Thank you, Dawn. And then the Russian dictatorship turned around and threw you in prison because that's what dictators do, right? Anyway, thank you, user 336. So a little more here. A Russian court said on October 7th, this is from the Kyiv Independent, I think, it had placed Yegor Guzenko, a pro-war blogger who recently criticized the Kremlin, in custody on charges of using violence. So this guy was a war blogger. He had 300,000 followers on Telegram, which is huge in a country like Russia. Russia's got less than half our population. 300,000? I mean, I've got 600,000. That's as big as me, so to speak. I mean, and in a country like Russia, there aren't that many people. I think they have 300,000 followers, right? He supported the war, was very vocal. He then got a little more critical because this guy, Igor Girkin, who was another pro-war blogger, got into trouble with Putin. So they arrested Girkin. He publicly said, this is wrong, right? This is tyranny. What you're doing is like what a tyrant would do. You don't throw people in jail just for disagreeing with you. So they threw him in jail. They arrested him. They arrested him at a concert. And this is my favorite part, too. Listen to this. They arrested him at a concert and said he was detained on suspicion of using drugs. But then he resisted the police. So when he resisted the police, he basically became a terrorist using violence against the armed force, whatever the hell it was. There is very small chance that this guy got arrested for doing something illegal. He most likely got elected because he was a pro-war, pro-Kremlin blogger who then criticized Putin for arresting another blogger simply for criticizing Putin. So they threw his ass in jail too. That is what a dictatorship does. That's what Russia does. We've got problems with our country. We don't do that. We got problems. And even under Trump would love to do that. I mean, Trump wanted to shoot people who disagreed with him, but at least our military didn't go along with it. A little bit more here. Dutch Defense Minister Ruben Breckelsman said on a surprise visit to Kyiv on Sunday that his country will invest 400 million euros or $440 million in advanced drone development and deliver more F-16s in the coming months to Ukraine. All right, that's it for today. Now we do our hangout part. I've also got, remember guys, I've got a number, I'm not going to show you right now. I've got them upstairs. I've got a number of auction items. We would do auctions every week. Haven't done them in a while because I've been in Chicago dealing with a lot of family stuff. But you guys had recommended, so I did. We've been going through my mom's house and trying to get rid of stuff and everything. And you guys recommended maybe auctioning off some of the cooler stuff that we don't want, but we still have. So I've set up about 8 or 10 auction items. Thank you, Hedge. Go check them out. There's some cool, it's pretty cool stuff. I like it. It's pretty cool. I mean, again, I try to put up stuff that I like, but I just don't need more. Like this cool piece of driftwood we got when we were traveling. I'm trying to think of actually a really cool Waterford. It's a German crystal decanter that one of you already bid on. Did a very generous bid. I was glad to see. One of my mom's paintings, one of her watercolor paintings. So a lot of cool stuff. So go check on Discord. The link to Discord, you guys can find it on YouTube in the description of the show. The Discord link should be there. And for you guys on TikTok, the Discord link should be in my profile. Go to my profile, click the Linktree link, and the first thing that comes up should be Discord. And then when you get over there, check it out. Oh, it could driftwood be expensive? I didn't even know. I think I put a pretty cheap price on it. It's a very cool. Actually, you know what? I'll show you its baby brother. The other ones are upstairs. I could always get them later, but let me show you the little one that I forgot to put up with it. I mean, this is the smaller one. Like I said, the bigger one is upstairs. The bigger one is the one I'm auctioning. This is the smaller one, but I mean, it's like this. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this driftwood. It's like a piece of art. Absolutely beautiful. Other people said that the Linktree link wasn't working for them either. You know what? Maybe mods remind me later to ask Syndicate to create another link. He had to create a link before for us that worked. And then I think every few links, I don't know. We got this. I think Mom got this on vacation like decades ago because we've had this since probably the 70s. We were probably traveling out west. I think it's absolutely stunning. But anyway, this is the small one. This one I'm not auctioning yet, though I probably will. Driftwood could be hundreds of years old. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I mean, it really is. I just don't need more stuff. But like if I lived in the Southwest, this would be like on my mantle for my Zen home. But the other one's even bigger. The other one's 20 inches tall, I think. It's really cool. But anyway, I've got a lot of cool stuff up there. Hopefully you guys like some of it. I don't even remember now. There's a number of different things, but I think it's pretty cool. Actually, I will look just to mention. Oh, that's right. There's some really cool Japanese demi-tasse cups that are really cool. I mean, again, I wanted them, but I was like, I already took some others of my mom's, the little cups you use for espresso, but these Japanese ones made in Japan that are stunning. Ukrainian Easter egg. Yes, there's a Ukrainian Easter egg that they blow the yolk out of the egg and then they paint it by hand. And it's again, because Mom was an artist, Mom chose the good stuff. This is a very nice one. The ones that I've auctioned off for you guys before were good. They weren't this quality, and those were pretty pricey. Actually, I had to buy them in Ukraine. This is better. Christmas manger scene that my mother herself painted. Dome crystal. There's a dolphin, this beautiful dolphin in dome crystal, which is famous French crystal. Was it Bavarian? What was the Bavarian? Yes, the Bavarian decanter. Oh, there's a Rothko ornament. There's an ornament that's probably Rothko. I'm not going to swear it is because the sticker's no longer there, but it looks like Rothko, which is the famous, I think, was it Czechoslovakian? I'm trying to remember. But Christmas ornaments, very pretty. A Chinese jade bonsai tree and a vintage magnifying glass that I see Jetta already bid. That's I don't need it, but that's one of my favorites. It's very pretty. It's like something Donald Trump would use. It's something a pretty lady would use. And then finally, my mom's watercolor, which is also very cool. All right. Any case, let's get talking. So yeah, go check them out. It's on the Discord. If folks can figure out how to get there, you'll find our auctions over there. I've got them going through Friday. So we can't sell the icons, Poppy. We checked. My sister looked into it, and it says you're not supposed to sell icons unless you donate the money to the church, which we could, I guess. I guess that's true. We could donate the money to the church. I'd have to see. But we're not supposed to. I think actually, if you donate to the church, you can sell them, but you can't, because I guess it kind of makes sense. You shouldn't, profit off of God, which, okay, fair enough. Right. Oh, hey, Deb from Poland here visiting from New York. Oh, nice. I just met some Poles at O'Hare Airport. I was just coming back from DC last weekend and met a Polish American woman and her Polish friends who had just arrived in Chicago, and they were going to New York for a little trip and then coming back to Chicago. I think that's funny. That is funny. So yes, we'll see. I have to see which of Mom's icons have not been taken by the grandkids. If we've got any, maybe I will. Unless you're Trump selling a Bible, exactly. But let me see, Poppy. Let me ask, because the one that I pointed to, my nephew already wanted. So I didn't realize that, or I would have snagged it first for you guys because he already got a lot of stuff. But let me ask my other nephew if all the icons are taken, because she's got a few. I doubt there's a Saint Poppy. I doubt because she made them like for all of us, but we all have them. Like I've got Saint John, my sister's got. I forget if there's a Saint Catherine. I don't remember who that is. I think so. Actually, there's a Saint everybody, I guess, right? Ukraine war update, Lexus. We already did. I'm not sure how to. There isn't a ton of Ukraine war news today, actually. No Saint Ashley. You will always be our Saint Ashley. Ron DeSantis. What was the DeSantis story? I mean, I know he's not going to continue the voting or whatever. I mean, there's no news on Israel. I mean, today's the anniversary of the October 7th attack when Hamas that runs Gaza attacked Israel and killed like 1,200 people and took 200 people hostage. So, beep, 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 beep. Oh, funny. Is he? Dawn says DeSantis is not taking calls from Harris or Biden ahead of the hurricane. Of course not. Again, I mean, always thought it might be nice to retire in Florida someday, but now I kind of think it's filled with crazy people. I'm kind of like, well, hurricanes and crazy people, like neither is necessarily appealing to me. Thank you, Vicky, for the gift. Unfortunately, just because I think it'd be kind of nice to retire somewhere that's a little like more, less crazy. Dawn, thank you for. Oh, you bid. I didn't see you had bid on the Japanese cups. Thank you for that. I was just happened to look over because I love those cups. There's only two, but at least there's two. But in person, they're actually, I will say they're prettier in person, because you know how I talk about things that are actually prettier in person when you guys buy them. Those cups in person, the darkness of the color, they're stunning. I mean, literally, I showed my nephew too, like Anthony, who's been around the world. He was the same. He goes, "Oh God!" I said, "Anthony, what do we need more Demitas for?" But they're stunning. Anyway. So what else? Oh yeah, no, they're absolutely stunning. Yeah, trust me, you'll love them. They're just beautiful. Anyway, what else? Oops. Oop, and Drake, you're not bidding right. I'm seeing Drake is trying to bid against Jetta. It's /bid space 40 is how you would do it. I don't know if Drake is on with us right now. /bid space 40. Sorry, I'm like checking the bids as we're talking here. All right. Anyway, I don't know if Drake is on, but the bidding can be kind of confusing until you get the hang of it, and then it makes sense. Oh, thank you, Anne, for the gifts. Randy Fred. You're in the hospital with your third cancer. I mean, I guess that means you're a survivor if I try to put a positive spin on it, but that sucks. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Anne, for the gold medal. Randy for the chill or the chili. Well, Well, that's what I heard. Yeah, Emil is saying you have to have hurricane-resistant house away from flooding. Home insurance in Florida may be expensive now. That's what I'd read. The home insurance is getting worse and worse for the hurricanes. Like either they don't cover it or it's horrific at this point. Thank you, Randy, Fred, and Hazel. Again, more gifts. And your parents were from New York, tried Florida, and then went to Texas instead. That's interesting. That's interesting. I just think it would be nice to be near the water, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I can get my Greek passport and retire in Greece or something. I'm like, I don't know, Anyway, yes. So, so anyway, we're hanging out, guys. This is the part we hang out. We talk about the election or the Ukraine or anything else. And currently we're talking about, California, the taxes are too high. And I think California's, no offense, Californians, your state seems a little weird. I mean, I like San Francisco. I never got much of a good vibe from it, though. LA always struck me as weird. The weather's great. Taxes are crazy. New York taxes are crazy. New York City's okay. I think it's very hard if you don't grow up somewhere moving there, And like, the thing is, I hate DC. God, I've lived in DC for 40 years. I loathe DC. It's kind of a horrible place in many ways. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, the taxes are way too high. It frankly is too liberal in a really bad way. Like we're just, things like crime and problems in the neighborhood just don't get fixed because, they're all liberals. I mean, like in the government, it's just a very bad thing. It's too much. I mean, I don't like conservative governments, but when it gets too liberal, it's like you pay a lot of money and they just don't want to fix problems because that would be mean. And you're like, okay, God forbid we be mean to people killing us and spreading rats everywhere. Oh well. Got a huge rat problem they won't address because it's the poorer housing places that are causing it. And God forbid we make them abide by the sanitation rules because, liberal governments don't do that. So no, I hate DC. I've always hated DC. And it's dangerous as hell too. I mean, every time I come out here to the Chicago area, suburbs, I tell you guys this, I'll walk my dog at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And it's very weird to me because in DC, I wouldn't be caught dead walking my dog after dark. I will not where I live. Like I will take her across the street to go pee and then go home and that's it. In a million years, it's not safe. It's just not safe to walk around the block after dark. It's not. And that's insane. Why pay a ridiculous amount of money to own a home? And the home you own is an apartment, mind you. I have a 1-bedroom apartment. It's not like my 1-bedroom apartment for the longest time was worth the same money as my parents' home. I mean, why live there like that? I just don't want to live like that. I told you I'd been to Asbury Park when I was a kid. We have relatives. Actually, they may still be there. The Aravosises of Asbury Park, but we had Aravosises living out there before. I mean, DC, I think if you're young, it's nice, right? There's a lot of cool neighborhoods, but I'm going to guess your rats are nothing like our rats, Serpachi. I don't want to get into it on the show. It's been a huge problem, but I mean, it's a huge problem causing destruction of property and everything. And the city won't do anything about it. And it's coming from the place next door we're talking thousands of dollars of damage and destruction of property happening because these guys won't fix the problem. It's not the rich place next door. No. I've lived in places with rats. I've never lived in a place causing thousands of dollars of damage to lots of people and nobody lifting a finger to stop it. That's Washington, D.C. And again, it's happening because it's the lower income place next door and they don't want to do anything because that would be mean. And that again, that's the bullshit far left. The right wing is crazy. I don't ever want to deal with the right wing. But when the left wing gets that left wing, it's like, okay, Anyway, beachfront in Florida doesn't work. Ohio. Ohio's crazy Republican too, though. I don't live in Ohio. I'm seriously, unless like I need to marry a European. Anybody out there? Let me know. Marry a European. Or Greece has got to give me my passport. I'm trying again, but I'm not hopeful. Greece is going to give me my passport and I can just go move to Europe. Which is not easy either, but Panama. We've got family in Panama. I mean, I could. I mean, I don't necessarily want to move away from everybody else, but, Costa Rica. Everybody loves Costa Rica, too. That is true. Yeah, but I don't want to move to, Ohio being a red state. No, Ohio's a nice place. It's a well-developed state and all, but, Greece is tough. I've David or the kid. I mean, Dre. Um, I have not been to Greece for about 10 years. I haven't been to the islands for much longer than that. The islands have kind of gotten spoiled by tourists, I'm told. This has happened. Friends that have gone to Rome recently, because I haven't been to Rome in probably 20 years either. Like Rome, all the top European tourist places have now been like inundated with tourists, like out of control. And everyone's telling me it's like Rome was horrible. Like when I went to Rome, it was nice. Florence was bad. Florence had gotten bad 20 years ago. Florence, like you basically would go at 10 o'clock at night and you wouldn't see anybody because all the tourists go to bed early. And Florence at 10 o'clock at night was empty and lovely. And then the next day was living hell. But so I don't know anymore. Like I haven't been to too many islands, but I loved Santorini. But again, it's all tourists now, I'm sure. Crete is wonderful. My nephew actually did spend a lot of time in Crete and said there's a lot of neat places there to still visit. I mean, that aren't as crazy. But I haven't been to Rhodes. I haven't been to Corfu. People love Corfu, but again, I don't know now how it is, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sure I want to go somewhere with winter as well, like New England, and liberal at least. From 23. Oh, wait, you mean when I was 23? No, Bash, you mean when, you mean 2023. Well, I had so much hair 2 weeks ago too. I just got my hair cut. Pedro, my problem is I don't want to go live in a Republican state with a bunch of gun nuts who, after what happened with COVID, forget the gun nuts. That's bad enough. But after what happened with COVID, I don't want to be in a state where people are literally trying to kill me because they're trying to score political points. We're not going to admit a disease is real in order to screw the liberals. Like, are you insane? That's just absolutely freaking crazy. Yeah, that's got to be them, Dawn. Probably best to leave their name out of it. I wouldn't go publishing names if I were just to be safe. You know what I mean? But yes, that's got to be them. Kalamata, I've been around Kalamata. Very nice. We have relatives up there too. Very nice. We're from southern Greece. Well, we're from northern Greece if you go back 230 years. But otherwise, we're from southern Greece. Now, I need to start traveling more. I haven't traveled significantly other than Asia, which we did a huge trip to Asia this spring. But I've not. It was an obit. Oh, okay. That's okay then. That's okay. I just want to be living people. I want to be careful, being public minded. I was going to say there was a guy named after me, but he was older, or not named after me, but another John. Yep. But they absolutely are my relatives. There's nobody else out there other than us. 2 weeks in Italy in November. That'll be good. I love Italy. Oh, I love Canada too. Thank you, Anne, for the gift. I love Canada. I have only been, we'd go fishing not every summer, but many years we went fishing in the Boundary Waters with my dad when we were kids. He would go every summer. I've not been to Toronto or Montreal, which are supposed to be lovely. And I've been to Ottawa that I loved. I've been to Kananaskis, near Calgary. What's the I'm forgetting the name of the town, but anyway, if you're Canadian, like Kananaskis skiing and the area there. It's near Banff. Yeah. I'm forgetting the actual name of the town, but it's near Banff. Yeah. That was really cool too. Wasn't Edmonton, because they were making Edmonton jokes. They were saying, what was it? Why is Banff so windy? Because Edmonton sucks. I remember that joke from when I was there 30 years ago or 35 years ago. Thanks, Elizabeth. But it was the Calgary Stampede taking place, and they had people ski jumping into a vat of water, but it was free, and I almost did it. I wanted to do it. I should have done it. And I didn't do it, and I should have, because it looked like so much, except that, of course, you're getting sopping wet and it's freezing, and I didn't want to die because it's like freezing weather skiing, but it looked like so much fun, skiing into a vat of water. It was so much fun. It wasn't I forget the name. Like I said, Kananaskis is the name of the ski resort. Just Google it and you'll see the town. Kananaskis with K's, Kananaskis. But it was fun. Oh my God, it was fun. Like I said, went skiing like I think it was it was Memorial Day weekend in the States, end of May, and they had skiing. Because I remember asking the guy at the hotel, I was like, oh yeah, so when's the skiing season? He goes, oh, till June, July. I was like, wait, you have skiing now? He goes, yeah. I said, I can go skiing? He said, yeah. He goes, we're going tomorrow if you want to go with. I was like, yes. So we all went skiing the next day. It was so much fun. But anyway, yeah, Canada, I like Canadians. And I think Canada, and I speak French, so I want to do more in the French areas too, because I just enjoy that. Thank you, Wilford, for the gift. Vancouver, hear wonderful things. I've never been, but that's supposed to be great too. Anyway, Canada's its own. Stampede is 10 days in July. Maybe we went. Okay, is there still skiing? Because we were there for the Stampede. I remember it was the Stampede. Maybe we were there in July, like 4th of July. But I remember it was crazy that there was still skiing. Could there be skiing in January? Skiing was about to end in a few weeks, but I thought it was end of May because I thought surely it couldn't have been July. If they're skiing in early July, July 1st, then that's when we were there. That's probably why, because I remember the skiing was ending the middle of a month like July, and I couldn't believe it. But then I thought my memory must be wrong. It must have been ending mid-June. Then that's it. Because we were there for the Stampede. That was why they were doing all the crazy stuff with the jumping in the water and everything else. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Anyway, skiing. I haven't been skiing in a very long time. Since then, really, I loved skiing, but never go. Memory's funny, Kathy. Kathy said my memory's great. Memory's funny, I think, because, and I'm sort of sympathetic for like older people. As you get older, you've done a lot, but you've also read a lot and seen a lot, like on TV and everywhere else. So you start to kind of mix things up a little. Like you're not sure, like, I'm not sure, am I just remembering the Calgary Stampede as a thing I've read about and always wanted to see? Or was it the Stampede when I was there? Because I thought it was. You don't want to be Tim Walz and, Tiananmen Square. I am older than many, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've lived long enough that you start to sometimes not be sure what you've experienced versus what you've read about the same thing. It's a very funny thing. Yeah. Again, anybody who's got several decades under their belt will know what I'm talking about. Occasionally you go, did I do that? Or did I just know about that? It's funny. But yeah, I am convinced that we saw the Stampede. So it must have been early July. I think it was the 4th of July. Yeah. It must have been 4th of July. Yep. Storm info. Are you in Florida? I don't remember this. Before you go, where are you, Wilson? Although if you're anywhere in that area, I'd be a little worried right now. Yeah, Walden, I'm about the same. Is it category 5 right now? Except it's supposed to die down before it hits. Oh, Sarasota. Oh, you are in Florida. Okay. Yeah, go watch the hurricane. Yeah, at least it's supposed to go down. I thought it was to a 2. I mean, that's still a lot by the time it hits the mainland. Although it depends, because also with the water coming in, the storm surge and all of that, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. Yeah, it's gonna be a major hurricane. Got us another major hurricane. You're south of Tampa. Oh, so who else is here from Florida with us at the moment? And the other one, so the other hurricane, I wasn't paying enough attention. The other hurricane, I assume, came from out in the Atlantic heading west to Florida. So it was the eastern side of Florida. This is the western side, I'm guessing. Jean-Marquis, you're in Florida? I'm forgetting like who was where or whatever. This one I know started near Mexico. Oh, both of them started in the West. Oh, that is strange. Okay. Yeah, 1st of July is Canada's, or the beginning of July at least, is Canada's Independence Day or whatever. I guess you've never been independent. I don't know what the Canadians celebrate exactly, because they're still part of the British Empire, I think, but it always confuses me. Independence or whatever. Independence from us, maybe. But is it actually Independence Day, or what do you celebrate? Or is it just the founding of the republic kind of thing, of the country, is my guess. Because who did you declare independence from? Like I said, us? I can't think of, and you weren't dependent on us anyway. Founding, that's what I figured. Okay. Yeah, okay. Right. Because for us, it's independence. Like it's it is the founding, but we phrase it as being independence, right? Which is interesting. You're right. Because looking at it as a founding day, it's the same thing. America was founded on July 4th, 1776 as well, you know? But we're Americans, so it's much more about war for us. For you guys, it's more about birth. You know, it's sweeter. It's Canadian. It's less violent. So stealth drone? I don't know. There was a stealth drone shot down. Whose and where, Sobo? Which was that one? Ooh, anyway. Yeah, Charles is the head of state. I always get a kick out of that with Canada. What else, guys? Oh, excuse me. A Russian stealth drone. Okay, but who did it get shot down with where or whatever? Like over Ukraine, or what was the actual thing that happened? Russia only had 3 of them. Oh, so it was a really nice drone. Oh, Russia may have shot it down themselves. Okay, that would be very funny, actually. That would obviously make me very happy. Oh, neat. Okay, that's very cool. Shooting down their own. Oh, Ukraine. Oh, well, actually, that's really good too if Ukraine has it. I mean, if it's not destroyed entirely, because Ukraine can perhaps reverse engineer some of it or whatever, you know. There we go. Did Drake? There we go. Oh, except you got outbid. But yes, Drake was able to bid and then get outbid. Oh, well. All right, you guys are bidding now. Thank you. I appreciate it. There we go. All right. I mean, in the auctions. Anyway, on Discord. I didn't see it. I didn't see any mention of the drone story. No. Let me look now. I totally didn't see any mention of it. Let me see here. Ukraine drone, maybe. Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. You know what? It was the weekend. Maybe because it was the weekend, I just wasn't paying attention. Ukrainian troops in eastern Ukraine received a surprise gift on Saturday. This is from Forbes. When a rare Russian stealth drone fell out of the sky over the fortress town of Chasiv Yar. There are just a handful of the 65-foot wingspan jet-powered drones in existence. Now one of them, or its wreckage at least, is in Ukrainian and Allied hands. They will disassemble it down to the last screw and, of course, familiarize themselves with its rich internal contents. Hard to know who the shooter was. Hard to know if it malfunctioned. One strong possibility is that it ran afoul of heavy radio jamming along the sector of the front line. The drone likely lacks full autonomy and instead depends on a steady connection to operators on the ground. That's a design detail Ukrainian and Allied analysts can now confirm as they inspect its remains. Good. Oh, how fun. Oh, that's great. No, I hadn't seen it, but again, it was this weekend. I'm not always trying to be up on my Ukraine news over the weekend. That's why. Oh, nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, I never know. I mean, it'd be interesting to know. I don't know if any of you are up on the technical side, but I always think of us as being more technologically advanced. Does a Russian drone? Okay. There's probably nothing technological we'll learn from a Russian drone that will make us go, oh my God, we never thought of that, I'm guessing. But we will learn how well it operates, what it's capable of, maybe what are good ways of taking it down, things like that, I'm guessing, in terms of the intelligence coup of getting our hands on it. I'm guessing that it's not technical in the sense of going, ooh, brilliant Russian technology that we wish we had. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably not happening. $30 to $50 million a unit. Wow. Oh, that is cool. Vlad didn't mention it, but Vlad was Saturday morning. So it may have happened right after we talked to Vlad. Okay. Communication. Exactly. So we're learning the way it operates, ways of circumventing it, ways of maybe spying on it, listening, right. Ways of jamming it, etc. And gives us a sense of how advanced the Russians really are. Right. Interesting. Oh, that's great. Wow. Yeah, I'd not heard that. That's great news. Cool. 2 more existing. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, it's good. Hey, Magic Knight. I mean, it's good, though, because they still, usually. because they still duct tape. Exactly. Duct tape and spit holding it together. Hello, Derek. Warmonger. You're the one who likes war. You're the ones defending the genocidal dictator invading Ukraine, killing Ukrainians and stealing children. That makes you the warmonger. I just happen to like beating up bad guys. So, so there you go. Sorry, I'm yawning. I know I didn't sleep. I haven't been sleeping well lately, guys. Thank you, Demood. Somebody likes my haircut. Appreciate it. Every time I yawn, an angel loses its wings. Who is that? Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. You know, I like the dancing flower. Thank you, Brandon, for the pumpkin. Surprisingly quiet in the Middle East today. Dave just got the notification that I'm live. I know. Thank you, Brandon. They've been, TikTok has been punishing me lately. TikTok's been hiding my videos lately. Today, they finally let a video go viral, but they've been totally squashing my videos for several days now. Who knows? I mean, it's just the most corrupt little system they run. It really is. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Randy and Fred. What else? Oh, hello, dog. Now, the dog may have to pee soon, so I'll let you know if that ends up being it may be a thing. Remember, as soon as she goes to that door, that's when we're in trouble. People get the weirdest notifications for TikTok of when I'm going live, But exactly, Rita got it too. Exactly. I don't know. Oh, it's open. There you go. Okay, she went inside. Yeah, I think I have a feeling the dog's going to come back and want to go out. Thank you, Rocket, for the gift. Discord, let's do her. Courtney, I'm tired. You know what? Let's finish early, like tomorrow, and do Discord. Maybe we can even finish like 5 minutes early, so then we can. Because I'm just tired. I'm going to be tired every day until I go back home. But we're getting closer. Thank you, Rocket. Thunder just got their notification too. So I love this. TikTok is sending the notification now that I'm live, like after an hour and 10 minutes. Seriously? I mean, we cover the Ukrainian. There is no more Ukrainian content. I mean, I've been covering what there is. I don't actually like cut back on the Ukrainian content. There isn't anymore. It's much less content than there used to be. All the people who were creating the news on Ukraine, they stopped creating it. So like all the big news organizations, they're covering it, but like this compared to before. So they're not even generating news for us to go and find. Yeah. So no, the news I give you is like all the news that matters. There is no additional news that I didn't cover other than, I can't even think of anything that was like, stupid news. You know what I mean? Like I can't even think today. It's because people get bored. Ukraine was a huge story. Now it's less of a huge story. The media moved on. Middle East probably didn't help because that war became bigger and more important. So all of a sudden the eye moved over there, Well, the drone story I missed because that was this weekend, though. I do try to not work the weekends. But I haven't done anything with Malcontent News, like done anything like what? Housing prices in Chicago, I don't know. I do know they finally went up in the last several years. But I don't know compared to other cities because, I know in the suburbs, excuse me, I should say that. I know in the suburbs, things have gotten much better. Like where my parents live, things have gotten much more expensive. Well, I was thinking the eye of Sauron, Russell, except in that case, I was thinking I wasn't necessarily using a negative eye. It was more just the media's eye, which isn't really Sauron, but it was though, because it was Sauron, as they say in the Rings of Power. Sauron. I always said Sauron, which I'm actually enjoying the Rings of Power. I don't think it's gotten as many, like the number of stars is low. Whether it's 7 out of 10 or it's a little slow, but it's very good. It's very good though. There we go. Now she's going. All right, I'll take you. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. All right. The dog is looking at me. She's got to go pee. I'm getting the look of the little fox look. There we go. Oh, hello. Oh, I'm even getting this, although she may want to play too. Let me take the little girl out. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Mods, there was something I was going to ask you to remind me. Now I don't even. Oh, Syndicate. Something I was going to ask him. Oh, about the link for whatchamacallit. Discord. All right. Let me see you guys later. Sorry. Oops. Burp.